recording now, and I started recording now.
Yeah,
Introducing POV.
And then we're all gonna fucking talk over each other.
Yeah, and then we'll just blah 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 blah.
Deedledo, aka
Deedledo.
Po Jesus, aka Douglas, aka.
Hold on, are you introducing yourself or all of us?
I said yes. I said to my right, it's Deedle.
So I thought we introduced ourselves.
Are we? I thought he said introduce us.
Yeah, to introduce yourself.
Oh, okay.
I don't.
Yeah,
I
thought I was gonna introduce you guys. He said because I'm in the middle. I was like, oh, I guess I'm doing
that could work. If Deedle, do you want to introduce yourself? Deedle,
introduce yourself. Start here. That's fine. Go ahead. Somebody start. I can do it. It doesn't matter. I misunderstood what he was asking me.
Well, let's.
I was like,
Well,
shit. Am I trying to be silly here?
Well, then how? Okay, so what are you saying then? Did you want him to introduce us? Is that what you were saying? I thought you were gonna turn those alerts off.
I have them muted and paused both. I have them muted and paused both. Are you fucking kidding me? Look, resume. Unmute. Did I just lose feed of you guys, or are you guys not saying anything?
No, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for you to.
They're paused. They're paused and they're muted.
No, we're not. Are you paused? No, we're not paused.
What are you talking about?
The alerts are both paused and muted. I'm guessing. Oh, I'm guessing that the. Okay. It must be different than just a regular stream alert.
Yeah, because it's not popping up on your stream like with the thing, but that's probably because you have it grabbed from a different place. But
oh, that's annoying.
All right, so I guess we could have Slim introduce us then. It doesn't matter. I just want to be on the same page here.
I don't know if the channel points are still gonna.
Well,
No,
I'll start in the middle.
still.
I'll start with me.
So that's a Twitch thing.
Introduce myself. I've been streaming. I'm probably the only. Yeah, I am. I am the only 7-foot PoE streamer right now. Hopefully, somebody will join me in that category. I doubt it, but I'm the only person that's this big, so I take pride in that because there's not many people that are damn 7-foot. I've been streaming for about 3 years. I play all sorts of games. I'm really more of a variety streamer. PoE is just, the main bitch. I got side chicks left and right all over the place. Path does it for the, I guess the biggest crowd for me. A lot of people like to come by and say hello when I'm playing Path. Retired basketball. I used to play a lot of basketball. I no longer play for money. I do a lot of fucking art on the side too. I used to sell a lot of art. A lot of people don't appreciate art anymore, so I don't sell it. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm just a game junkie, man. Let's be real. I'm an athlete and I love games.
I don't know if people don't. I appreciate art. I just can't afford it.
There's a lot of people who. Okay, so here, put it this way. There's a lot of people that I know that will be like, that'll be like, oh shit, yeah, man. You know me, remember me from high school, man. You wanna hook me up with a bro deal? They want something cheap instead.
$5?
So how's that not appreciate? So you're saying they don't appreciate paying the artist?
Yes. No, they don't appreciate.
They want the art. They still appreciate the art. Yeah. They just don't want to pay the artist.
That's depreciating the art though, because you're wanting you. Okay, so example, somebody comes up and is like, "Man, that's a nice picture. How much is that?" And I'm like, "You don't want to know. How much are you looking to spend?" I'll spend about $30. Okay, well that you can't even buy the frame.
That's true.
I'll wait.
That's true. Frames are way more than $30. That's true.
Yeah, especially if you get them custom. I get custom frames and everything. I do the whole 9 yards for people.
Yeah, it's 150 minimum for a custom frame.
It's not. It's anything creative. It's not just art. It's movies. It's anything creative. Hey, I'll give you exposure. But that's a whole nother giant fucking atomic bomb that we don't have to get into right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Deedle, who are you?
My name is Deedledo, aka Deedledo, as a lot of people say, but that is not the right way to say it. I've been playing Path of Exile for a hell of a long time. Since open beta, I started 8
Same.
years ago almost. July will be my 8th year coming up. I started in beta, so pre 1.0, and have been playing pretty much the whole time. I took a small break. I think, what was it, Beyond? I think it was. I took a small break due to some life issues and been playing pretty much almost every day. Well, lately it has been every day since I started streaming. It has
You
been
gotta
every
love
day.
cats. Hold on a second,
Um,
guys. Get away. Cats, man, I
I
swear. It
started
literally like knocked over something behind me here.
started streaming October of 2019 and have been on a 538-day streak since November of 2019 of streaming Path of Exile every day.
A big one.
I play pretty much everything in Path of Exile. I do softcore trade, I do hardcore solo self-found, I do private leagues and gauntlet and bingo leagues, and we're about to do Badger League, so we're
That should be
pretty
fun. I'm ready
pretty
for
well
that.
pretty well versed in a lot of things PoE.
My name's Stark. No one cares what I have to say. I'm a psychopath. Let's talk about cursors. Big
Sums it up.
news. What was this? Was May 11th. May 11th. They released this. Do I have a time? 5:25 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 Eastern-ish. They said, "Hey, we've released a new kind of microtransaction into the store."
That's actually in my video.
Oh yeah. And then they made a forum post about it, which I can never read it on mobile. So, hey, get your cursor pack. I wonder. So obviously everybody knows.
I like the green one.
Yeah. Obviously everybody knows. There was a giant backlash against the cursors. You just use
What was some of the reasons you heard? I heard because people didn't want to pay money for something that made it even worse to see your cursor from the start. That's one of the biggest complaints I got from people coming by and asking me.
There's literally a fucking free high contrast
Yep.
cursor that they released with
That's
it.
still hard to see. A lot of people didn't even like that one either
No, it's
until
So
that's what people said.
So I didn't see the high contrast. All I did was read the tweets, and I'm like, and as soon as I read the tweets, I'm like, okay, yeah, these are some good points, these are some decent points. Like, people are saying, well, you guys, this isn't dressing up your character. This is like a usability issue. This is like a disability issue. Da 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 da. And I'm like, yeah, that's a decent point. And then I saw the actual high-res cursor in game, and it all went out the window.
Yeah.
I'm like, this high-res cursor looks fucking great. I'm gonna stop using YOLO mouse, use the high-res cursor.
It really does.
Yep.
I don't use it almost at all anymore. There's been one point where I said, "Where's my cursor?" Since I've been using the high-res cursor. I like it. It was a little chunky. Like, when I first installed it, I was like, "Oh, this is a chunky boy." Like, from
it's a chunky boy.
Coming from the white one, because I used to use YOLO mouse.
Yep.
And that's another topic too, is like, people can just go get YOLO mouse for free. Some people use it off of Steam and pay the $3, but you can literally just go to YOLO Mouse's website and download that program for free, which I used to use. But when you use different add-ons like the Trade Companion or PoE Overlay or Awaken Poe Trade, sometimes when you use those things, sometimes the cursor would lag on me. And you could see it, and then if you pick something up with your cursor and just kind of swirl your mouse around, you can really see the fact that the thing that you have on your cursor will be way in front of the cursor. It's almost like the cursor's on a rubber band, and is just if you take a washer and tie it on a rubber band. I know everybody's done that, right? And you just kind of swing it around, how it'll kind of it lags behind where your hand actually is. I don't know.
Sure.
But then they So then they released this post a few days later. When was this? Oh, the very next day, like literally 25 hours later.
And those look great too. I'm waiting for those to come in.
Exactly. Like the red one is perfect. It's like this beats the fuck out of Yellow Mouse.
I like the blue and the black one. The one that's 2 down, 2 over. The black middle with the slight blue around it. That looks good. Yeah, that one there.
Yeah, and I would love the red one. Any of these red ones would be great. So I mean, having seen that, I'm like, okay. Anyone that fucking complained about the cursor thing, I'm like, what?
I'm just glad they implemented the new colors. That's what I'm happy about. All the extra stuff was something that I was looking for. Maybe it's just me. You know, everybody's eyes are different, everybody's body's different, but I know that that high res, the one that they gave out for free, that one, it's still, I still can see it getting lost in certain situations. I guess it depends on what build, and if you're playing with a party, if you're solo, I can see it not getting lost that bad.
It's definitely way better than the original
one.
one.
Oh hell yeah, by far. Absolutely.
I think it goes deeper than the cursors. Honestly, I think it's more stemming from just performance issues, from things that have been happening in the game, from posts that GGG has made that just really seem disconnected from the actual player base. I think it's a combination. I don't necessarily think it's just the cursor. I think that's just the straw on the camel's back, so to speak, to where like people just started losing it. Like, I mean, we live in a culture of like outrage society today anyway, where every little thing
That
can
cancel
cause
society, bro.
outrage, right? But I think it's more along the lines that there's major issues in the game that haven't really been addressed, and people look at it, and I'm not saying this is my view of, and then this is my opinion. I'm playing devil's advocate and trying to spin around and try to make sense of the outrage, because I personally don't really get it, but I can kind of like put myself in a different scenario to try to speculate of why this is actually causing outrage. And I think that's more like the performance issues that haven't really been addressed, and the overall disconnect that seems to be growing almost by the day, where it used to be like their posts really made a lot of sense and they broke a lot of things down and they really seem to connect well with their audience. They seem to have been losing that lately. And I think the cursor thing just made that all come to a head.
Probably. It, what really struck me was Baylor's response. Because Baylor Mage is yeah, everybody knows Baylor Mage's community. He says, guys, I really love you. I do. But YOLO Mouse does this for free and has been mandatory for me for this game for years, which I agree with. YOLO Mouse is mandatory since Delve League because I couldn't find my cursor in Delve League.
I've never used YOLO Mouse until like this year, like literally Christmas. Yeah.
But he said, I cannot get behind this being an MTX. I do want you guys to make money, but this is an accessibility issue, not a make the game pretty issue.
He's got a point. He has a point.
But that's why I think the high contrast cursor is really good, and the colored ones too. If they get the pink ones and the red ones and the blue ones in there, I think they're fine.
Yeah, I agree. And with the addition of the high contrast cursor, yeah, it kind of throws all that out the window. Like, I think some of the cursors do look cool. Would I pay $10 to have that pack? Probably not, because there's only one of them in there. Maybe if they offered them individually and I could just get one of them for like maybe like $2 or $1.50 or something, then I might get the middle green one. I think that one looks cool, and of course everybody's gonna have their own opinion on if they look cool or not. But I'm not paying $10 for a pack of cursors.
To add what you're saying,
I'll pay like $7 or $8 for a pack of cursors, but that thing goes on sale. I'm getting it right away.
See, to talk about and add on what you said, it's I'm like in my video, like in the news, POE news, it's I'm kind of in the middle. It's like one of those things. Like if you don't like it, you don't have to buy it. It isn't like everything they present to you, you have to buy. Some people feel obligated and they feel like they rage. Like somebody said in chat, they just need something to rage about or something to yell on, bitch and complain about. I understand that there are going to be people like that everywhere you go, no matter where you go in life. But at the same time, you don't have to buy everything that they want you to buy. You know what I mean? Like they want you to have. I don't understand that much. I don't. So it's kind of an interesting scenario because I'm in the middle ground where I don't really like it and I don't care, so I don't complain. Does that make sense?
It's just crazy. It seemed like from the tweet, people were split 50-50.
It's kind of typical Path of Exile community, I think.
Yeah, when GGG does something, sure, I agree with that.
It's usually split 50-50.
Because like Baylor's comment got 200 freaking likes, but Noogie's comment.
I mean, I do agree. I agree with what he says, but I don't know.
Here's the other thing that we need to remember about Path of Exile community is a lot of them who are the outspoken ones who go around and say, oh, this is ridiculous or this is great, are just loudest. Echoing something from that they read on Reddit and they're like, oh, I don't really have a thought for myself, so I'm going to take this thought and run with it and be just an echo chamber from something that I read. Right? Like it happens all the time.
I'm not saying anything. I don't want to insult anybody. But yeah, go ahead.
That's not SlimB's Twitter feed. That's my Twitter feed. Tenbatsu.
That's you, dude. Not me.
Yeah, I think we've said all we can say about cursors. I'm gonna buy it as soon as it goes on sale. I can't wait.
I hope they split it so we can buy them individually, and I would get one. I'm not buying the whole pack. And who said 10? 10 says, he doesn't understand. We can only use one at a time, so why are you going to sell it as a pack anyway?
Because I just don't. They sell very few things for $3. Very few.
I think it gives them an excuse to sell something like that.
They sell a Weta-Pet for like 50 cents.
Yeah, and like I said, very few. Very few things.
You can buy a mystery box for $3.
Yeah, the free one's good, and these are gonna be free as well. They're planned to be free, the high-res colored ones. So
you can buy a Metamorph stash tab and a Blight stash tab for $3. Well, actually, it's $4. They're on sale right now, but
they're on sale for $4, which means they're $5 normally.
No, they're on sale now for $30. They're normally $40.
Okay. Well, like I said, very few things. That's my unwavering. That's my unwavering stance. That's my stance.
Nice.
Hardcore rips. How do you guys feel about dying in hardcore?
It sucks, dude, but it's a part of playing in hardcore. Like when you click that button and you sign up to play in hardcore, it's ultimately 96.53% an inevitability that you are going to lose that character. It's just how hardcore goes.
Real quick, have either of you died to lag or like a game bug or something?
My gauntlet. That's why I didn't play. That's why I didn't finish the gauntlet last time.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Metamorph.
How many times? More than 5 times or less than 5?
I think it was 3 or 4.
Just once or twice, maybe for me.
Yeah.
The beginning of Metamorph League was really fucked up, if you guys remember. We had a lot of performance issues in the beginning of Metamorph League.
I forget.
A lot of crashes. Yeah, I died several times to crashes in Metamorph. And it always scares me, like when I do get lag or a crash, like that's the immediate thing that goes through your head is like,
am I gonna die?
Shit, my character is dead. I'm dead. Especially when it takes a minute for your, for like you to either get out of game or get back into game.
You're not alone.
Your ultimate thought is like, oh, I'm going. And that is a really bad feeling. If you die to something that you put yourself into and die to a monster slamming you in the face or get hit by something, that's the game, right? all right, yeah, you might be a little bit upset that you lost your character, but that's the game, right? When you die
Right.
to a lag spike or a game crash or something
Spectrum Internet.
that's out of your control,
That's
yeah,
what I
fucked
have.
up internet,
Feel me? Fuck
that
that.
feels so bad. It does. That's probably one of the worst feelings in hardcore.
You saw the clip where that was the meme league. I tried to do the meme league, but my internet killed me so many times. You saw those
Yeah.
clips, right?
Yeah.
One was at the beacon or whatever. It was walking the two babies. Died to lag. Died to Spectrum. Going out.
Oh shit! Don't get
And
me
then
started. You have
and
Spectrum
then I
too? Over there?
moved neighborhoods to finally fix it.
So I used to have fiber in my old house before I sold it, and it was like one of the most flawless internets I'd ever had.
Yep.
It was amazing. And then
It's pretty much
moved back
necessary
home.
now.
Yeah, I wish to take care of some family members and stuff. My father, that kind of thing, lung cancer and whatnot. He's 80. He's been smoking all his life, guys. There's nothing you can do about it. Hey, don't smoke cigarettes. Whatever, that kind of thing. I moved back home, sold my opportunity to save a little money, and obviously sacrifice my privacy. But I live with my mother and to stay close to him because nobody else can do it when he needs it. And so yeah, I'm now on Charter, and it's fucking trash.
Ooh.
Actually, garbage, dude. It's actually garbage. I'm sure a lot of people who are watching maybe have some.
Do you know who
can
Charter?
relate.
Do you know who Charter just bought? Spectrum.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Charter Spectrum. Yeah, I'm a Spectrum. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's fucking garbage. It's not that good at all. And I pay another $30 on top of what I used to have for fiber that never went down, and it was 3 times faster. It's actually trash.
Yeah, it's all about neighborhoods. It's all about area.
So hardcore rips.
So when I first started playing this game, I started in hardcore for some ungod known
Game.
forsaken reason.
Multiple leagues.
Did you? I
on
can't.
a really shitty computer too. Yeah.
Oh, what was the reason you started in hardcore? I was coerced into it. Like my friends were like, "Oh, you got to play hardcore."
Yeah, that's why. Because back then there was a big stigma. If you played softcore, you were like just a big scrub. Nobody admitted they played softcore back in the day. It was hardcore or nothing. Like there was a huge softcore versus hardcore battle. And it went on for a long time. It's not really a thing anymore, but it was in the early days for sure. So like if you wanted to be recognized as a PoE player or play with your friends, you played hardcore.
Yeah, that's funny.
There was no SSF back then though, Frown.
Yeah, there wasn't SSF. There wasn't private leagues. Go on forever about that stuff. I remember my first rips were the hardest. Because my first level 80 or level 90 rips, ugh, I had crippling depression after I lost those characters.
Yeah, I've been same. And not only that, but the amount of time it takes you to get to that level at that time, being new.
Yeah.
So long. I remember it used to take me 4 hours per act just to get through. It was extremely slow. I mean, the game was a lot slower back then. It's much more fast-paced now. But it's forever to get there. We're talking days and days of progress, if not longer. Just because, it is a different game. And yeah, the first few rips were just detrimental, man. Holy hell, what you feel like crying. I might have even cried a few times. You feel like you lost a fucking child or something.
You stupid.
Serious though.
I lost my juggernaut. My juggernaut. It killed Zara so good.
I was watching some of my old clips, and some of my old rip clips, and my reactions say it all. I'd be like, no, oh, no, and I can't really do it how I do it, but
the best I've ever seen.
You watch some of the recent ones, and I'm just like, oh shit, oh
yeah,
fuck. Well, that's that. It's you kind of come to terms with this shit's gonna happen. You play hardcore for the thrill, for being on the edge, for those close calls, for the You know, like knowing that at any moment that could happen, and when it does happen, you have to accept it.
Yeah. When someone in chat, Wild Mixtape in chat says, anyone died to reflect and race course? I remember you talking about reflect, Deedle. I remember you talking about reflect in lab, but that's not a thing anymore.
Yeah, the lieutenant. Yeah, they took it out. They took out the race course one too. Race course boss no longer does reflect either. They did it at the same time.
It's kind of
Thank
interesting.
fucking God. Hate that shit. Yeah, the lieutenant that was in lab no longer has a reflect aura, and the race course boss no longer has a reflect aura. Let's reflect on that for a second.
Oh man, I remember in Breach League, fucking for some reason I'd always die to Esh breaches in Breach League. I guess I'd get shocked and perma-stunned or something both times or at the same time. And I chanced Skyforce. I spent like 28 exalt on this elementalist. I was like, oh, my character's so good. Oh, it's so good. It's the best character I've ever had, which was true. It's like the furthest I'd ever gotten. And all of a sudden, Esh Breach, dead. Fucking gone.
Was it to Esh or was
no,
it
was just one of those
there?
stupid lightning balls. No, it was just all of a sudden, bleh! It's just you didn't even know what it was. No one knew. I did get to player kill my friend though, and that was worth it.
I've never PK'd anybody.
I invited him to an Ellie Reflect map because I was all fizz damage. And like I was new at the game, I didn't know. And the whole PoE Reddit Discord at the time was like half and half, and they were trying to debate like whose fault it was. And half of the people were like, well, you should have read the map mods, and the other half of the people were like, well, he shouldn't have invited him to a reflect. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm brand new in this shit. There's reflect mods? What? I didn't know there was reflect.
Damn, that's fucking.
And like, as soon as he joined, you know, he was a explosive arrow elementalist, so he's gone.
Deleted.
Yep.
Self-deleted.
As soon as he joined, he's like, no! He fucking yelled it in Discord. Oh, he was so mad.
Have you ever died to reflect, just not reading the map mods?
I've never done that.
Nope.
Zizzarin. Cannot call myself.
I mean, I've had friends.
Cat died to reflect.
Really?
Where was that? That was recently. It was
I'm way too careful to do that shit. I can't.
Where was that? It was the end of last league. What were we doing?
End of last league?
We were doing, yeah.
Oh, it was another one with the tricks, I remember.
Yeah. It was the
Die in Hardcore League or something, or Hardcore on the Internet League or something. Like
Hardcore on the Internet. That was it. Yeah. Yep.
Why was it named that?
Because they were gonna do hardcore on the Internet. You can tell your parents you're doing hardcore on the Internet.
Oh, okay. Oh, I get it. I actually didn't know that.
What about you, Slim? What's your stance on hardcore deaths?
How many times have you died in hardcore, Slim? I don't think you have a lot of.
Much. No.
Yeah.
I probably died in hardcore deaths probably maybe 6-7 times now, like official deaths in hardcore. Yeah.
Well, you just started not too long ago, right?
I just started last year.
The gauntlet practice.
It started with the meme league. That's the first time I ever played hardcore meme league. I did it just because it was memey and it was an opportunity. So I was like, fuck it, let's do it. You know, why not? Memey as fuck, and hardcore to me is memey because you die once, whatever. You know, you put on your tryhard panties and you sweat it out. You're trying to die. You know what I mean? So that's what I went with. And yeah, I think I died and like a legit outside of the meme league, a legit yeah, probably about 5 or 6 times, like in official races and shit. Yeah,
Yeah, because you died like 3 times immediately, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And so once I got the grasp of it, an actual legit, you could potentially win money and make a name or whatever, that kind of thing. I died once. No, I died twice the first gauntlet, and I gave up, and then I died twice again the next gauntlet. Yeah. So then I just recently died again. Yeah. So no, yeah. So it's like 6 or 7, 6 or 7.
It'll
Roughly,
be
in like official league.
interesting because I'm probably going to do my first actual gauntlet run this league, so that'll be. Oh,
So you're
boy.
actually going to commit to a gauntlet? Okay,
Yeah,
good. We'll
I'm
see.
going to commit to a gauntlet.
I remember the first clip. He said, "Oh shit!" He got on the coast.
Those cannibals, dude! They
Yeah.
fucking took away 90% of your life.
They
I
used to, I was
remember
telling Slim, they used, when it was -40, they
Oh
used to
god,
kill
dude.
you instantly.
There was no
Like,
like
there
reaction
was
time. It was
no
none.
reaction. You were
Yeah.
dead. Now that it's -20, you have a chance to survive that.
Well,
But
it's the
back in
it's
the
the
day, if you
additional
got hit, you were
proj.
dead.
It's the extra 2 projectiles, is what it
That's
is.
the most dangerous thing
Yep,
in the
it's
gauntlet.
overlapping about
For
everything.
sure.
Is overlapping. The biggest surprise to me was when Mathel like took it nonchalant and he took his first attempt at a gauntlet and he got obliterated on the coast like Stark, but he didn't make it. You lived in your shit. Yeah, I remember seeing his face. You know how he's kind of like usually pretty emotionless most of the time. He's very stale faced. And when he got hit by hit by some of the coast cannibals, and he reared back and said, "Oh shit!" Like,
Yeah.
"Ah, damn." Yeah, he
They're
died
not
literally a
friendly.
second and a half. No.
Huh.
So he said, "No, my rips are lame." My rips are pretty good. A lot of my rips, I don't know. I think honestly, after watching and learning, I think most of my rips are just from positioning for me. I don't think that I don't understand like defenses and and like how to build a character and nothing like that because I mean I watch Deed, I watch a couple of people. I've kind of learned like layerings and understandings of like defenses and stuff, but positioning is for me. It depends on like what content you're doing and what class you're playing. Because once you figure that out, positioning is like the last thing you have to you pay attention to because you can't just run in headstrong like you would in softcore.
So
That ain't
that's a
gonna
good
work like that. So
that's a good
positioning,
point that you bring up though,
Yeah.
right? Is that
Positioning is very
nearly
important.
every not well that too, positioning
but that's
and just knowledge of game mechanics, but every rip you should be able to learn something if it's in your control, as long as it's not a lag or a crash death. You should be able to look back and like we as streamers have the ability to go back and actually watch that and actually slow it down and say, okay, what happened here? Which I do all the time. Every one of my rips, I go back and I watch it.
Yeah, you
I
do.
watch it fast and I watch it slow and I say, what exactly killed me here and what could I have done differently? And I try to learn from those rips, right? I try to say, all right, I can see I was out of position here, or
Sure.
I zigged when I should have zagged, which is kind of being out of position, or uh, my flame dash was on cooldown and I'm spamming flame dash and I couldn't get out of there, or or maybe it was just a set of circumstances where maybe I was playing too slow.
The
One
only
of
thing
my
I ripped
gauntlet
to
rips,
was bugs and the ultimatums. I ripped to all the ultimatum bugs. Yep.
like even sometimes playing too slow can get you killed. Sometimes you gotta be like running fast because like
Especially in
mobs are
lab.
gonna target where you are, and if you are moving fast or if you're moving slow and you're still there when they target in that spot, then you're gonna get hit by a shit ton of projectiles
One
or
thing,
whatever
one
attack is
thing
there.
I've heard Deedle say it, but before Deed even started saying it, like, well, when I was around, he's probably said it quite a few times too. But the first person I ever said it, heard say it was movement speed is like the best defense in this game. Like movement speed is king, and I learned that on my first build when I made my first necromancer build. Like the faster I moved, the better the build became. The faster my minions moved, the faster they became. Right, and it was Tarky Cat. Tarky said that, and I was like. I didn't get that. I was like, all right, whatever. I mean, yeah, 25, 30% movement speeds on your boots. That's good. And, Quicksilver Flask. And then once you start seeing people that actually have invested in movement speed and like mechanics and like stacked a bunch of movement speed, you realize that it's like, damn, that shit, my build sucks compared to his, and movement speed is the best defense in this game.
I
If you
used
can
to say
add other
the
layers. What's that?
Quicksilver flask was the best defensive item in the game.
Yep. Cheat death like D3. that is the only class in this game that has cheat death like D3 is a champion. Right back.
Yeah, it's kind of different though. It's kind of a different situation from what I know. I never played D3, so I can't
mean,
like speak on
I've only played 9
experience.
hours of it, and I don't even want to play any more than 9 hours of it.
Yeah, I remember watching a little bit of your stream while you were doing it, and you were like getting power levels,
That
and
was
you said, "What
miserable.
the fuck is
Yeah.
even going on here? Like, this
Yeah.
is so stupid."
Yeah, it was bad.
I was like, "Oh, I'm glad I never played that shit."
Ooh, elusive. I haven't used elusive in a little while. It's
Yeah,
such a
elusive
well,
is
it's a claw thing. It's a claw dagger thing only.
no, it's not. You can get elusive through assassin on crit, and it's on the tree. You can get it on no witnesses, right there. 10% to gain elusive on kill.
What mine build uses elusive?
I don't know. I don't know much about mine builds because I don't like mines.
Oh, love mines. That's what I'm gonna roll in the gauntlet. Mines. And I don't know if I should because it's so evasion based, but I don't know. We'll see. See what happens.
Well, if you stack dodge, you know what? I think
It'll
there's
be
gonna,
entertaining.
in the last few gauntlets, we've had a very, like, even with the class gauntlet, this past gauntlet being a class gauntlet, it was still, like, there was so many champions, right? Like, champion slam, champion bonk, right? Like,
Do they
that's,
do that because of fortify?
yeah, you stack so much fortify effect and get
That
so
they
much
just
effective
mitigate
HP.
damage, period, right?
Yeah, you get a soul tether, an overleech, and a bunch of HP and
Yeah.
fortify effect on the tree, and you're damn near unkillable.
Wow.
You have to try to die in certain builds if you get your defenses right.
I've
You
never
really
played a
gotta try.
champion. Ever.
Never.
That's crazy.
I
Never
never
played a
did a
champion.
bonker champion. I made a cyclone champion in
Nah.
Delirium. League started with a Bringer of Rain, Facebreaker, Cyclone champion. I threw it all together for like 5 chaos, and I was
Fuck yeah.
clearing like everything. Every little thing in the game. I was doing simulacrums. I
Bringer
was
of Rain.
doing
That thing
I
used to
was
be so
doing
expensive.
I was
Oh.
doing pretty much, like everything in the game. I had designed it to say maybe I can get to red maps with this. Farm ups, like just farm low red maps, get some currency and then re-roll. But then it kept on moving and I'm like, well, let's just keep going. And I invested maybe 50, 60 C into like some nice steel rings and a good like fizz amulet. And I was just trucking. I have people coming in stream saying, "Hey man, like how much does your build cost? I just spent 20x on a cast on crit cyclone. I can't clear T12 maps." And it's like, dude, I paid like 5C for this build altogether. And it's like, what? It was really good. It was a good build.
You don't need whatchamacallit either. You don't need a chest plate.
You don't need it?
So yeah,
You don't need it.
You don't need it,
Excuse
dude.
me, Mr. Streamer. Did you know you don't have a weapon or a chest piece on? No, I didn't realize that. Thank you for telling me. Oh my god, I got that so much.
Hey, Stark, do me a favor.
Yeah.
While we're sitting here chilling for a minute. See my lines, like on my box. See if you can widen them. See how much more you can widen it.
Okay.
Like just alt click like left and right and just pull it just a little bit and see. Like my elbow.
I know what I'm doing.
I just want to
So
see alt click.
Bringer of Rain is like probably like when I think of uniques in Path of Exile, and this stems from way back in the day when it was a super, super powerful item. It's not so much anymore
going.
because we have Shaper,
I can move it if I need
Elder
to.
helmets. We have, other things that can give us those pseudo links in helmets now and in gloves. But at the time that Bringer of Rain was brought out, you didn't have that. So uniques to me, when I think of a unique, like the
Yeah.
quintessential
little bit.
unique in Path of Exile, I think Bringer of Rain because it gave you so much power, but it had such a heavy downside to it. You couldn't wear a chest piece.
You see something?
Which, there was a lot of life and a lot
Yeah,
of
just
your
move it closer to
resistances
you.
and a lot of other
It is. It's literally up
things
at the
you
back
could
of my
get on
chair.
chest piece that I feel like that's just like the I don't even know the word I'm trying to say, but like when I think of unique, that's the unique I think of. Extreme power with a heavy downside. They've kind of strayed away from that a little bit since that time, but if you look at old
Yeah, I
uniques,
agree
Talking
with
about
that.
Bringer of Rain? You talking about Bringer of
yeah,
Rain?
Yeah.
yeah, I've been talking
Abyssus,
about Bring a
Abyssus.
Rain for 5
Yeah,
minutes.
okay. I didn't know if you moved to Abyssus because it sounded like you were describing Abyssus too. It's the same similar thing.
No.
Well,
They are
yeah,
extreme
I would
power for a
think.
crazy downside. It
Yeah,
Mhm.
is. Okay.
I think that's most of their uniques. Have they really strayed away from that?
I think so, yeah.
They're not insanely like punishing anymore. A lot of stuff. Maybe they're just on that stretch of like uniques that are coming out that aren't.
I don't even
That are
know
like
of
in
any
line.
new unique. What was the downside to
Ooh.
Itziri's staff? Was there one?
If
Nope.
anything, I'd say the randomness of the targets.
Okay.
And there is a cooldown. And
But
the
that wasn't.
fact you couldn't do there wasn't like a specific
Yeah, it
cooldown
wasn't like
or a
stated.
specific downside, but I would say that's a downside. You can't since it was granted, since the skills were granted by a skill that you got from
Yeah,
the item,
the
it
channeling
was
skill.
it made it kind of weird to kind of build around, and the main downside was the fact that it targets super randomly.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me ask. Let me
Uh,
ask chat. Let me ask these guys in here real quick. I want to ask something because I talked about it with Deed. I know someone probably heard about it. Maybe they were semi-conscious, semi not paying attention. On the bright side, I'll tell Stark because I know Stark wasn't able to hear it. Um,
just
if
dealing with
if in the
Discord
future
crap.
and eventually they like they come back with the pay a little bit to have a unique created. Stark, did you play Diablo 3? I know Deed didn't.
I played 9 hours of Diablo 3 and I fucking hated it.
All
I
right.
Yeah,
hated
we
it
were
Well,
just
so
cool.
much.
talking about it. Yeah.
Well, let me explain to you. Yeah, let me explain to you then. All right, so check it out. So you know how like Firestorm is a fire meteor, it falls from the ground, right? I would like to be able to, in some way of shape and form, in some fashion, to be able to create a unique item that allows you to whatever element you use, whether it be lightning, fire, ice, maybe even a chaos option, whatever. Anytime you hit somebody, with a certain element, a corresponding meteor falls from the sky. I don't know how they'd be able to. Yeah, I don't know how they'd be able to implement that. But think about that, right? Whether be the downside where you have to have it on a shield. It's a unique shield, so that takes away your shield slot, or it takes away a one-hander. Whatever, or it has to be on a two-hander. You know what I'm saying? Like something like that. Downside of that. Um, I would like to be able to implement that in this game at a certain point because in Diablo 3 they had a thing called it's a set, a Tarasha set, and anytime you hit with a certain element, meteors came down. But in that game, it had a large cooldown. So like every like 2 seconds you could like spawn a meteor. So maybe in this game, since we're able to break it and they allow us to break it, maybe have no cooldown based off our attack speed or cast speed, whatever it may be. I think that'd be interesting to see if that could be a chase item.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Well, I know one reason why they'd never do it.
Why so?
Because they'd have to come up with a whole new attack, a whole new trigger attack. If you
Think so?
notice, yes,
Why so?
a meteor that would fall from this. Oh, what they
Sure.
would just
It doesn't matter. It
recolor
doesn't matter.
Firestorm or whatever.
No, keep Firestorm, but like it would just be like miniature meteors, not as big and like beefy as Firestorm, but like more of like a meteor storm, almost like a Firestorm, but a meteor storm in a different manner, right? Like I said, it had to be obviously it'd be their game, it'd be their twist. I don't know how they do it, but like a good example is Spell Slinger. You hit something, or even a self caster, cast on crit. You attack, you cyclone, and you hit something with elements. And say you have an arc like in Molnir, and you cast on crit cyclone. Every time you hit something with an arc or a lightning skill, a meteor comes. That's lightning, and it falls. Whatever that kind of thing. I think that would like entice other builds. Whatever, or bring more variety to maybe say casters or slingers.
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there because you know how most slingers they'll do like pure chaos, right? They'll
I
either throw
need
just
to.
all chaos or they'll throw just cold.
I need to
It would,
play a slinger. I have yet
there's so
to
much
do
fun.
that.
That's what I'm
I have
doing in
yet
our
to
core
do
league,
that.
just messing around. It's
Yeah.
fun.
Spell
Like an
slinger.
AoE elemental hit. Uh oh, they did that with mages in WoW. They got an icicle, rain, meteor, depending on if you're 10, similar to that, but it's like like right now I'm playing a elemental slinger, elementalist, and she throws glacial cascade, firestorm, and arc, and all three of them hit at the same time when obviously when you do an attack. Well, if that's the coordinate elements that I'm throwing out, meteors would fall with that. So in that sense, I would drop firestorm and do another fire skill. why? I mean, it wouldn't hurt anything, Deedle. Now I think about it, why not have Firestorm be the fire damage and have another meteor follow up Firestorm? You know what I mean? But it's lesser damage. It's just something that adds more, I guess, prettiness or
Clutter.
yeah, clutter. Yeah, I mean that's true. They already have
Like we don't have enough screen clutter
Yeah.
already.
They wouldn't make an entire. They wouldn't create the animations for meteors falling
Koji,
from the
yeah.
sky
Koji knows.
because they wouldn't do that because someone bought a unique. That's one reason why they wouldn't do it. And if you notice, do you remember the ring that came out? I can't remember the name of it. It's the Skitterbots ring.
Profane
That's
proxy.
that allows them to have a
Profane
curse. Yep.
Yeah.
What about it?
So that was a unique that someone created.
Yep. I think that's very
Um
clever. That's very clever, but it gives up a ring slot.
yeah, and
Oh.
it's a wonderful unique. It's even got dual res on it, lightning cold res.
That's what I'm getting at. I would take a hit for like a really, really shitty item that's put on or whatever with a downside, you know.
But
and then
my
take the
point
meteor.
is they didn't have to create all new animations for that unique. They didn't have to create a meteor falling from the sky. All they had to do was put the curse around one of the Skitterbots. That's it.
Sure.
That's all they had to do. And they felt like they had to honor that guy's request because he bought a unique forever ago, back when they sold them, and then he just redeemed it years later.
Mm.
So they aren't selling. They haven't been selling those things, and they're probably going to stop selling div cards.
See?
Honestly, probably going to stop
Koji's
it.
got it. Look what Koji said.
Yeah, but that's what I was asking earlier. Are they just going to recolor Firestone with lightning and ice?
Firestorm? Yeah, I mean they could just shrink shrink the size of the meteor impact, whatever, and make it a
They
smaller,
could.
and then just change the element. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you can convince them to do so with your buy unique from 6 years ago,
We could see.
good luck.
We could see.
Good luck.
Give me that fizz ball lightning. Dude, I was thinking about 10. I was trying to figure out like if they would allow it like a bleed meteor, something that hits the ground and bleeds. That'd be cool. You know, a chaos one would be cool. Applying poison when it hits. There's all kinds of things you can do in this game. It's just trying to figure out the balance. You don't want something too fucking broken to
You
where
can
it ruins your idea. But
poison with Firestorm.
you can. I know. But like, you know, based off the elements, it stays true. I know what you're saying. Yeah.
So did you research Badgers League before did you watch the whole 20-minute video, Slim, before you joined? Or did you just hop in Badgers Discord and be like, I gotta get in?
I watched.
Okay.
I watched it.
I am the only person that hasn't. So what's that league about, boys?
Did you get it? Did you sign up?
No, not
Did you
yet.
sign?
I'll sign up. I'll watch the video and sign up after our podcast.
So basically, there's 3 factions.
I've
right?
seen that much.
It
Order,
used to
chaos,
be. It used to be 2, where it would be like you have different sets of objectives for your team. Now there's 3. So there's certain things that you want to do. All right, let me start first. So by one faction, which is Order, is Templar, and damn, what was the other one? Templar and something.
Templar,
I've seen
chaos.
Templar
Chaos is one.
Right. There's
Yeah.
Order, Chaos, and Ruin.
Yeah.
Ruin is Ranger, Witch, and Scion. Each one of them has Scion, and then there's 2 classes split up. So if you get placed into Ruin, you can only pick a Ranger or a Witch or a Scion. If you
Sure.
get placed into Chaos, then you are a Duelist or a
What did they say it was? Shadow?
Trickster, a Shadow,
Yep.
or Scion. And then the Order is Marauder and Templar or Scion. So you can only pick one of those classes. It's done by random, and there's certain objectives. Kill certain bosses are worth certain points. Delve depths are worth certain points. Most replica uniques are worth points.
Heist collections, yeah.
The most
leveling 100 is points also.
leveling 100.
Yeah.
getting the most alternative quality gems. There's a bunch of different objectives that will get counted, and whoever it's basically like team versus team. You have to work with your team to say, okay, I'm going to go after the big bosses. Stark, you're gonna go after, or you kind of
You're
have
gonna
your say. It's
delve.
not
You're
like
gonna
people aren't
whatever.
gonna, like delegate, but you can say, I would like to do such and such. I want to delve, or I want to heist, and then they'll say, okay, well you can do boss, I'll do heist, and then so and so Slim can do delve, and
Mm-hmm.
then we'll funnel all the sulfite scarabs to Slim, and we'll
Yep.
funnel all the contracts and coins to Stark. We'll funnel all of the Elder fragments, Shaper fragments, Shaper maps, Elder Guardian maps, high level maps to me, since I'm doing high level bosses. So it's a big team effort.
I like that idea. I'm all
I
about
still have
teaming.
it
I
on.
mean, teams
so-
full of what 2,600 divided by 3.
That's a lot of people.
2100.
Yeah.
So
2100.
700 people each team.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Yeah, it'll be my first time. That's funny. We both linked the same YouTube video to Astro.
Yeah, at the same exact time.
My thing is how
You
they
beat me by a
organize
minute.
700 people. How do you organize 700 people at once? Like how does that? That's what I'm getting at.
Discord. There's a Discord channel
Sure.
that you're supposed to go through and announce what you want to do. And there's the form that you fill out. There's questions on it to
Yep.
sign up. There's also questions on it like, hey, what would you want to do? Generalized mapping, delve, heist, boss killing.
Flexible. Yeah, I'm flexible.
I put boss killing because I love killing bosses, like big bosses.
I used to.
Loves killing
I don't
big
know them
boss.
anymore.
So so that's kind of like the main
Man,
Yeah, there it is.
I want to come up with
main
something
principle of it.
like that. I want to come up with something good like that. Like, damn it.
It's 4 days. He's been doing this for like 3 leagues
This is-
now.
this
This
is the
is
fourth
his fourth
league now.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but everybody's got their own thing. I want to come up with something.
Nobody does
like,
the meme. You had the meme.
No,
it was
yeah, I
good.
know.
People liked it.
Yeah, meme league, man.
Well,
Run with it.
yeah.
I enjoyed the meme
you
league.
say
I
you
did.
say people liked it, but like 3 people submitted things.
Well, it's the first time we got to have.
Yeah,
more
I know,
soon,
it's the
or something
first
like that,
time,
too.
yeah.
There's a lot of things we got to do. if we
Yeah.
find
I mean, he was
something
giving
we
away
want to do.
He gave away $100. Dude.
Yeah. Of
How
my-
is that not incentive?
And like I didn't have the thing group funded. I didn't have a crowd fund. I don't have Badger's audience. I don't have Brittle Knee's audience.
Nope.
$100 cash. My own cold hard cash.
Yeah, and he paid it out. I won.
It's only 4 days, huh?
It's 4 days. Man.
I forgot
Yeah.
that you won actually.
Yeah, the game's designed. Yeah, the league is designed for that. Yeah, get you out of your comfort zone. Try something new. That's what I like about it. And it's funny. You guys were talking about it earlier. I remember you mentioned it when I was
I
typing.
think
but
that's fantastic.
you guys mentioned a lot of people don't have like a thought of their own, I guess, and they kind of just like when you were talking about
yeah.
like raging on certain things. Raging,
Sure.
They just read something on Reddit or whatever, and then they just go and like they're just very very influential, right? Whatever.
Sure.
And I think that goes a long way with what this is trying to present, to where people need to use their own brain, their own talents and some brain power behind it. I've always said it's a lot. You know how like an example was recently in one of my videos where nobody knew anything about the shield. I think I tossed it around between Deedle. I messed around with Kazi. I went to Ziz about it a couple times, and we just like tossed around ideas. A lot of people didn't really know. Some people had kind of like an idea about it, but nobody really knew like how to put it together. It would take more effort and more brain power than just like 1 or 2 people just discussing it.
A shield, you said? What?
Yeah.
There's a
yeah.
really there's a really good
Mox-
trapper build, man. That Badger just
Wait.
really-
What I was? Hold on, let me finish. What I was saying is, it goes back to around the same thing about where people don't really have like. I mean, dare I say lazy? I guess. I mean, everybody knows there's a lot of lazy people out there. It goes in that same form of where there's an item out there that has a lot of value to it. There's a reason why they handed out it. There's a reason why they announced it and had like their own individual post and a screenshot on it, you know, as the league launched and said, hey, maybe there's some secrets behind this shield. You guys need to figure it out though, right? I mean, they knew exactly what they were releasing. They probably still already have ideas that we haven't even messed around with, you know, whether it may be through the passive tree or through a certain specific like subclass, right? But it takes like somebody like a big streamer to make a video on it, or somebody to release a guide on it that's really OP for people to be like, oh yeah, by the way,
okay.
you know,
Takes marketing. It takes
this shield's worth
reach.
2x now instead of 1 chaos. It's
Gotcha.
like if people had like a little bit of a, you know, imagination or whatever,
push,
some creativity behind what they're doing, or desire to like want to do something instead of waiting on somebody to make the next big build before prices go up.
Sure.
It's the same principles.
And the majority of people still don't use.
No, they don't want to. They don't want to.
But the majority of people still don't use PoE Ninja / builds. They still just wait for a YouTube video with 40,000 views on it. Okay. I gotcha.
Some people really enjoy to theory craft things, though.
Yeah.
Some people really enjoy to go just kill bosses. Some people enjoy just really like mapping. Some people enjoy delve. I don't think there's anything wrong with just finding what you like in the game and doing it. I think that when something like the shield comes out that is like kind of shrouded in mystery and has a lot of unknowns about it, it's gonna take some time for the community to really like examine it, pull it apart, say, okay, well, let me try it with this. Like I was saying, Badger did a build competition, and the winner was a trapper build that used that shield, and he was uber tanky.
I have no idea what shield you guys are talking about.
He was a raider. It's called what the hell is it called?
Mahaxahatl or whatever.
It's the one that has like 5 keystones.
Seven keystones.
Oh, the 5 Val keystones.
It doesn't have 7.
Yeah, it has 7. Yes, Astro.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. Go look. Astro. Some people just like to follow popular streamer builds and stuff. What I'm saying is like it's not necessarily that. It's like that's what makes PoE beautiful, is the fact that almost anything, if you can come up with an idea, something remotely close to your idea, you can pretty much put it down on the path of exit on the tree, PoE building, and then turn around and like that translates to something you could push to the end of the campaign, which we all know here. 6, okay, which we all know that like most of the people, like I think only like 10% of people get to maps anyways who play this game. So like the beauty of this game is creativity, like the freedom is like what they like were big and prideful on. When I first discovered this game, it was like the creativity and the versatile of being able to make what you want to make, how you want to make it, and turn around and see if it works. You know, like they always say this. They always say like, break the game. You know, go do your own thing, experiment, trial and error. You know,
and then we'll nerf it into the ground after you.
And they've always said that. And so like I get the idea. I get some people just want to play. Some people want to follow the popular streamer builds. But like I feel like I get it. Not everybody is the same creative mind as everybody else does too. I mean, Deed might be more creative than Stark. You know, I might be more creative than the next big guy who has 4,000 views. You know, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, not everybody has the same, you know, brain. I get it. Everybody works differently, but I think that's like one of the beautiful things about this game and why it has a lot going for it. Because if it was stale and it didn't have variety, this game would not be succeeding like it is right now. And people miss out when they don't use that brain.
Astronomical has a really good point, though, is it requires a lot of game knowledge, and there's so much in this game that not only has been in the game for a long time that, you know, may slip under the radar, that might key in with this other thing that you might be missing. There's also things that go through changes. So you need to know that not everybody can know life the game. Some people have lives and can only spend a couple hours on the game, you know, per week maybe, or, you know, an hour or two per point. And a lot of like build
people quit because of that. Yeah.
Build compilation and theory crafting, you have to know what mods are on what rare and influence items. You have to know what uniques you can use with what other thing, and what ascendancies have what thing, and you know, you kind of have
the game's dug themselves a hole for that reason. You know, everybody says, I guarantee you'll probably get lottery, like right here in a second, like in the next 10, 15 seconds after I say this, I'll get replies from people. This game is not very user-friendly when it comes to introduction to new players, right? Everybody knows
anymore.
It's not. It's got so much. Maybe if you look back like 2016 and 17, the game wasn't bad to get into because there wasn't so much like let me pull this, like 18 different directions of content, right? It was like 5 different things you could you could teach people about, and they would know 75% of the game, right? And now there's like 20 plus different directions you can send people, and then they would learn that, and they think they know a lot about the game, and then you send them this direction and that direction, and they're like, what the fuck is going on here? I didn't know this even existed. The game has dug itself in a hole. It's not a bad thing. It's like a pick your poison kind of thing. How they decided to develop their game is the downside is they put so much into it. There's too much for a
I
lot
don't
of
think
new
it's a
players.
downside.
I do.
So sure, maybe
You
for
don't think an
maybe
easy
no.
intro for people new players is not a downside.
No, I don't think dumbing down the game for what it is now would do any good.
Not
People can learn
dumbing.
the game. People can learn the game. That nowadays, even though there's a lot of content in the game right now, there's also more resources available to learn this content than ever before. I say all the time that I try to be extremely helpful with new players. I kind of built the channel on helping newer players
Yeah.
coming into the game because for the simple reason that I got to start in the game when it was in its infancy and very small, and I got to learn these mechanics over a period of years when they were introduced time after time. And okay, I get to learn uh incursion or like bestiary or betrayal, even though I didn't learn betrayal until like delirium. But anyway, I got to learn it over time, whereas a new player coming in now. But okay, let me back up a little bit. Over time, but there wasn't as many resources. We didn't have like a million streamers. We didn't have a million
Sure.
educational YouTube videos back then. We had to figure it out on our own, which that to me that was part of the fun of playing Path of Exile, the
Figuring it out on your own.
unknown and figuring it out.
Yeah. Totally is.
Nowadays, a new player coming in can be easily overwhelmed and say, "Holy shit, there's so much going on. What does this mean? And what does that mean? And what is this like?
Yep.
What even does
Mm.
this do? I don't understand." But if you take it small, if you take it in small bite-sized pieces and you say, okay, I'm just going to get through the tutorial and I'm going to focus on X content, and I'm gonna do some research. I'm gonna go on YouTube and look up a couple guides on this particular subject, or I'm gonna go and I'm gonna maybe conversate with a streamer and pick his brain about what he knows about this or they know about this certain situation. And then I'll try to figure out, okay, I think I got a small grasp on that. Now let me move on to Y content. So you don't have to like, yes, it's overwhelming at first, but that's one of the big pieces of advice that I give to new players when they come in is take it easy. There's a lot to
So
learn. You're not going to learn this all in a day.
let me ask you this, because I'll ask one question and see. I'll throw it out. I'll just pick your brain since you're on it. If there's so much content out there, right, and you say take it easy, and you said there's so many different resources and availability to find out information and gain knowledge from a new player, right? Somebody who's been playing for maybe 3 or 4 months, right? I mean, literally, you can still play. You can play this game for a whole year and still be considered new. There's so much shit to learn. Um, do you think? Well, I'm gonna ask this because, in my opinion, I think it does. I think there's a lot of stuff from console that I've heard and I've seen that we need to have in our version of the PC game. Like they need to be able to, and I hope they do it in PoE too. I hope they learn, listen to
What
people.
about the Chinese client?
I don't even know much about it.
Loot pets when?
But
Loot pets when?
but what I'm saying is like all those resources stuff, like the third party websites and the stuff that we get a lot of our information that are like super fucking helpful. It needs to be in the game. I mean, is that a yay or no? Do you agree? Do you not disagree? I think some of that stuff needs to be
Some
implemented in
stuff.
the game.
Some
Yes.
stuff would be nice to have in the game and not
Yes.
have to go onto a browser. But think of think of behind the scenes and what they would have to do to like implement some of this stuff in the game
Oh,
itself and how big
it
the
would be,
file would be
yeah, it'd
and
be
like how
massive.
it would be so big.
But that's what
And
I'm trying to say. But that's the hole they've dug. There's so much that needs to be resourced for us that it's just so much. It's a
but
lot,
there are
but that's how they've
resources.
designed their game.
There
Yeah, I'm not
are
saying there's not,
resources.
but think about the people who are talking about life quality. Like they want to help us out with life
So
quality.
what
They want.
happens? So what happens after you learn the game, and then you're like, okay, now there's only this certain set of subsets, and I'm kind of stuck in running this straight line and I can't really meander where I want to go. I think the game with the Atlas passives and all the content that gets thrown at us, it's in the best place it's ever been. As far as like being able to run what you want to run when you want to run it and like having customization over your content. I love the fact that there's like, like I could delve if I want. I could go incursion if I want. I could go
Well,
run
sure.
delirium if I want. I could do,
But
you
that's where
know,
it goes to what I'm saying. Like, there's just so much, and like you said, you said it yourself, overwhelming for new players. Yes, it is.
That
But you
is
say
what the
take it piece
devs
by
want
piece.
too.
Yeah, they
What you were
do.
saying, Deedle, that's the devs' vision. That's what they
They
want
do. They want you to
everybody
have
to
like
be.
multiple
exactly.
avenues. Multiple
Yeah.
Right.
avenues. Yeah.
Right.
And if you slim that down though, just for the new players, like we don't like
I'm not saying
if
slim it down. I'm saying like figure out like I don't know how to word this. I'm saying like figure out what are the go getters, like, you know what I'm saying, like when I say that in terms of go getting, like what are the most popular, right? And what are the most unpopular league mechanics, which we have quite a bit of them. You can go and look at videos. People talk about it. What are some of the shittiest league mechanics? You know, whether it be
Heist.
outdated, yeah.
talisman,
Yeah, talismans,
It's
fucking ghosts. You know, whatever it may be. Like, you know, rogue exiles.
ghosts,
Very
yeah.
very underwhelming mechanics and stuff that are in the game that people don't
But they
understand
were
what it does or
very
what it is.
early.
Yeah, they're dated. That's what I'm saying. Underwhelming or dated. Those are the two things that like equal up to shit experiences, right? So like they could remove that, right? And take on the knowledge that they have and the data that they've collected that are like popular and very successful things,
But
and
see,
either bring those back or just reiterate them or do something brand new, replace them. There's nothing wrong with trying something new because I mean they're already
but
doing it already. They do it every day. It's
those things that are outdated, rogue exiles and ghosts and talismans don't require a lot of knowledge though
they don't.
either. You see a ghost, you kill it. You see an exile, you kill it.
Sure.
Right? So why would like
But those are considered
I
leagues
feel
and there's
yeah,
go
and
ahead.
I feel like that was part of old day PoE when they would
Yeah.
have just a tiny little change, like Strongbox. Strongbox was a
Let me,
league. And that's
let
a
me ask you
tiny
this.
little.
yeah.
Let me ask you
Anarchy.
this: when you have a restaurant or a building, and a building is it's time to upgrade, you know, and you need to, or like a even like a facility in general, you know, it's time to upgrade, right? You know, you get enough money, you know, stuff gets ran down, stuff gets old, it gets worn out. It's time to renovate, right? When you renovate something, you usually
They've done
wipe
it.
down the whole
They've done
thing.
it
But but they
Yeah, they
still let a lot of
with
old
did.
the
stuff. They still let a
Forsaken
lot of old stuff.
Masters, with the Verici missions. They've done it.
Sure, right, but that's just part of it. That's just part of the old stuff.
Sure. Sure.
And we
I
did get a
think
lot
that
of we did this whole league this past league we
that's
got a
correct.
lot of renovated old league mechanics. It
Essences
may
got
not
better. Yep.
essences, the temple got better.
Yep. Being
Betrayal
able
was
to sell
reworked.
temples is awesome. I
Being
forgot you
it,
could
yeah,
even do
like
that.
But when
so
you said
they have done that, like, and they are going back and revamping
right,
old content to make
but
it
l-
dated, not as dated, and to
let
bring it
me
up to speed with what we're used to and accustomed to and want now.
Let me come back. Let me come back to it then. So my argument would be is where you said that they designed this. You both agree. All three of us agreed. They designed this game to have different avenues to pick your favorite mechanic or something that you truly, honestly enjoy, and you want to make a character for it. And you know, you do that mechanic over and over and over, right? You purposely have options and the means and the resources in this game, whether it be trading or your soul self found, and you're getting those options to be able to manipulate your in-game maps to be able to cram that mechanic in, you know, 75% of your content that you do in maps, right? Or in game, whatever it may be, right? So what if you're a new player, you don't like betrayal and you don't like, you know, fucking building a temple, you know, from Alva, but you really like Ghost or you really like Rogue Exiles. Yes, there's Rogue Exiles in the map passive tree. I get that. But they're still very underwhelming compared to like scaling of like Delirium
Yeah,
or Legion and stuff. You see what I'm
you've
saying?
got to
Like it's
sextant
like
the Rogue Exiles and
yeah,
get that
but that's what
sextant
I'm trying to
thing
get
for
at.
the
Like
rogues.
there are people that probably don't like that crazy mechanic. Maybe they're more simple, you know, simplistic minded people or whatever. And no offense, people out there who do like that shit. That's fine. But like, you know, there are people that don't want to go all crazy and gung ho with all fireworks and, you know, fog and shit on the screen. They just want to go slay ghosts and or maybe try to chase ghosts into a bunch of bosses in their map and do that. But then they don't drop shit. And it's like, well, I'm over here busting my ass to do this and I could be doing this when I don't even like the mechanic. But obviously it like pushes you over to these elaborate big ass mechanics that a lot of people don't like, and it leaves these older ones in the dust. Even though they still buffed them, they're still in the dust, and you know it. So that's what I'm getting at. That's what I was saying. It's like
Sure.
they
But
need to redo it.
I think they will revisit. They've been revisiting, older
Yeah.
mechanics. They've been revisiting that.
You're right. You're right, 10. I agree. It is underwhelming. And I like them. I like I like the idea of running up and there is an evil version of me somewhere, or like the same like demeanor of me, but has went rogue. But then you go over there and you one tap them, or you don't even realize they're there, and they're no threat. Rarely are they a threat unless you're just like fully tier 16 juiced ass maps with some fucking ghosts and they're haunted or whatever it may be.
Plus, when I'm leveling, like they're not friendly. And the Ulysses guy, the fucking Essence Drain guy, that guy sucks. I hate that guy.
Dude, he's the worst, dude. Yeah.
Well, what about Magnus too, the Flame Blast guy? Well, you play softcore.
What about
he don't kill me. He don't kill me then.
What about Xandro?
Xandro Bloodtrigger.
Will
hits cannot be evaded.
Yeah, Ghost Xandro will tear your ass.
Is that the ground slam with the bleeds? The ground slam with the bleeds.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's a ground slam or Sunder. No, it's ground slam.
Ground slam, yeah.
But he does it. He's got like 5 attacks per second on it or whatever. And hits cannot be evaded.
Rich said, I think we're forgetting about the OP Great White Beast in Act 2, in the Den Act 2. I mean, there's just so much things they could revisit and touch up, but I mean, I get it. They have their priorities and they understand.
They will.
That's Act 2.
They will. That's
Eventually they will.
Yeah, I know. No, I'm just.
All right, what are we talking about? Let's wrap it up here. Better wrap that gavel up, B.
We're just having conversation because people are actually interacting with us.
No, I know.
So I would say though, on the flip side of what you say, when you have people that just want to go their own lane, and they only want to focus on one thing. They only want to focus on temple, or they only want to focus on this. What about the people like myself who don't like to just pigeonhole themselves into one mechanic and like to branch out all over the place and keep everything fresh?
But I know
what about people like us?
That's good. Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of people.
Then throw us out, throw the long-term player base out, and fuck what they want because a couple new players are feeling overwhelmed.
But that's what I'm saying about not.
This has been
what's up?
This has been a bigger issue. It has been a controversy. It's a lot of community members are talking about this, the balance between pleasing the long-term players and trying to expand the game for new players. A lot of people have been talking. That's a whole nother podcast point that I don't even have fucking time for because I'm hungry as shit.
I think a lot of people can relate. I think you two can relate with me and people in the chat that are listening. Two things, two legit things that I look for in a league mechanic that keep me wanting to like that I feel like that I could judge if it's a good mechanic or not, right? If it's engaging, right, and if it's profitable. I don't think there's much of anything else that makes a league mechanic that like obviously they've tried league mechanics that were very technical, wasn't very well received. A lot of people made fun of Synthesis League because it was a puzzle league. A lot of people made fun of Bestiary League because it was a Pokemon league. Do you not have Nets Exile? Like, do you not have phones? It was like a fucking meme. You know what I mean? Like, Delirium, engaging and very rewarding. Delirium was like one of those leagues that made your butt quiver because a big ass
Delirium, my favorite league.
Delirium was my favorite league, and I didn't even fucking play Delirium. So like, it's one of those things where it's like engagement and profit, like that is the biggest thing when it comes to like ARPGs. And
let
if it
me
doesn't have that. How do you fix it?
Let me edit one of your words here. You're saying if it's engaging and profitable, engaging and instantly profitable, because synthesis or Bestiary or any of those or Incursion or any of those other leagues were very, very, very profitable, not instantly. It didn't shit out a bunch of loot at you. Delirium shit out a bunch of loot at you.
And you're talking about like loot pinatas,
loot pinatas, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but it's appealing to people. It is.
Sure. And instantly profitable, which is what we've seen. We've seen Ultimatum.
The last 2 leagues.
Yeah, Ultimatum and Ritual. Shit out a bunch of shit.
Yeah. It pushes it up there and says, "You pick what you want, grab what you want, and take it." Yada yada yada.
What was before Ritual? What was before Ritual?
Heist.
Yeah,
and extremely rewarding.
Yes,
extremely rewarding. But was it Well,
it was yes and no, because it was like it depends on what you were aiming for in the heist. because it wasn't Star Kit was instantly, but then it
You
wasn't.
can
You could say
target
both.
farm too.
Yeah, you can target
Yeah.
farm, but then also
So
too,
I
like,
think they've learned that in regard.
yep.
Yeah, the
So
dopamine hits. Yeah.
So I think what they do, and I'm trying to catch on to it. I think they'll have leagues where they experiment, right? And then they'll go
Mm-hmm.
back to what they know
Every
it's really
league is the
good.
beta,
Well, listen. No. What I'm
whether it's
saying
going to
is,
go in core game or
yeah.
not.
But what I'm saying is, Deed, is like they have like an experimental league, like Tower Defense. Blight League was super fucking experimental. They even admitted it, said it multiple times. This is something new. We've never done this before. We don't even know how you guys are gonna like it. If it's gonna be well received, if it's not, if it isn't, sure, fuck it, whatever. We tried. You know, yada yada.
Harvest was the
Synthesis League
same
was
way.
yeah. Okay.
Every
Well, let me.
league that I want them to branch out and
Well,
try
yeah.
new
But what
things.
I'm saying is, have you noticed?
And I'm glad that Chris does.
They'll add in a mechanic, right? That's something that's like, all right, let's just try this, throw this out there, and see if it works. If it, whatever, if it does, they'll go like one on experiment, and they'll go back to what they know, which is loot pinatas, kill a bunch of shit, loot pinatas, and then they'll come back
Yeah.
maybe like a league or two later, and then do a little experimental league. Okay, cool, it's mediocre. Okay, here comes a bunch of fucking loot pinatas. Here they come. You know, like think about it. Think about in the past, from like the last 3 years we've had, it's like a big experimental league, a bunch of pinata, a big experimental league, a bunch of pinatas. You know, like loot diapers. You feel me? Like it's just one of those
So-
things where it's just one of those
Touching
things.
on the old leagues
Loot
though, like
diapers.
Synthesis or Bestiary or
Mm-hmm.
Incursion or like a lot of these leagues when they were leagues,
Mhm.
Blight League, very underwhelming. How many Blight maps did you run in Blight League?
They had
Probably
to buff
none
the shit out of it. Yeah, they
because
had to
they
buff
didn't
the shit out of it.
fucking drop.
Right.
Like a lot of the times when we run a league, often the implementation into core makes it a lot better of a league mechanic, like Synthesis. I didn't like puzzle building and Synthesis. I love running
no, I
Synthesis
hated
maps
Synthesis.
now.
You want to know why I didn't like
Blight
you wanna know-
League, like Blight League was terrible because you couldn't run a fucking bladed map, but now they drop
What's-
and they're actually rewarding, and you're like, oh shit, nice, I got a bladed map. Bestiary, we used to have to throw the fucking nets at the beasts when they were on low life, and if you did too much
with
damage,
Colleen's-
You kill
then-
him. Yeah.
Colleen's
then
strike.
you-
That's what I'm saying.
they
But
had
if
to
you had
bring
Slayer
out a
Call-
whole new type of
Yes.
net called a
20
necromancer net to bring the
20%.
fucking beast back to life.
Think about it, though,
20%
Deed.
call,
Think-
Slayer call.
Think about what came
Yeah,
in between those, though. Think about what came
terrible.
before and between. You see what I'm saying? Like, they would try something new that was just outlandish, and it's like, fuck it. We don't even know if it's going to work. We're just going to give it to them. If they like it, cool. Well received, even better. You know, yada, yada, yada. And then they'll go back to something else and be like, hey, this is what we know. This is what works best for RPGs. Here comes a bunch of monsters. Here comes a bunch of loot pinatas and shit on the ground, right? And then they'll do something different. You're right. You're right, example. But what was the main reason what was the main reason you hated Synthesis League? You know, the main reason I hate Synthesis League is
Because
because
I didn't want to play
people...
Tetris.
Well, that's you being nitpicky, because I mean that's not hard. I mean, I get what you're saying, but I'm saying like the league mechanic, what the most rewarding part of it was being able to get synthesis items and smash them together and get something good from the synthesized piece. You know, the implicit.
Oh my god, I
Never
forgot
happened
about
at
that.
all. Never fucking happened at all, and it only happened to 1% of people because they pushed it and they knew exactly where to go. 99% of people never experienced anything good from Synthesis League.
Which you
ever.
also needed an outside resource on a spreadsheet to know what you were gonna get when you.
Oh, like
smashed
Harvest?
And that's too much.
Maybe.
Yes.
Or like Harvest, where building your freaking your garden. That's something I didn't like about I didn't want to sit there and tend my garden and dig it up. I think
Hell
there's ways
no.
that they could
I
have
thought it
made it
was
better. There's
You-
ways that they could have made garden building better.
It wasn't
But-
much, but it was honest work. You know what I'm saying? Like that's, dude. I'm telling you, bro. Farmville League was trash. I'm not gonna lie to you. The rewards from it were like, and the rewards from Oshabi were trash too. The only reason that people were excited for it was because it's just something new.
No, it's
I
the
don't know.
crafting. Determined
It's the crafting. Yes, that's the
same
best
reason
part
they
of
got
it.
upset when
And they nerfed the fuck out of it, and then they nerfed it too much, and now people, yeah, it's just like, what the fuck is it? That's another reason. What the fuck is this in the game for now? Like, nope, you don't even need to do it hardly. I mean, I see you using it, but it's nowhere near as impactful as it used to be. It doesn't really have like an identity like it did. There you go.
still has its uses though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I see you use it, but it's not as impactful as it was, because they were talking about how,
It was too
think about it. It was too impactful.
It was too impactful. Yes.
How so?
Oh boy.
All of the triple
I'm scared.
T1 mirror literally changed the vernacular in Path of Exile of mirror tier items. You like
I'm not saying I disagree.
It
I
was
just want to hear his
so-
reasoning why he thinks it's over
there
impactful.
was so many mirror tier items of triple
boy.
or
Where's Quasi?
61 items coming out and just like making like super super powerful. I'm not saying that it should have been nerfed to the point where they nerfed it. I
It
think there
was
should have been a
yeah.
middle ground, like
They should have
between
brought down
where
the
it
top
was
end,
and
Deed.
where it is now. Like
Yes.
I still think like where it is now, it needs to come up. They nerfed it way too fucking hard. They did
Yes.
classic GGG triple nerf basically, right? And it's like bam,
Classic.
like it's
They
not done though. That still has its uses. Like I said, you can still re-roll suffixes, you can still re-roll prefixes, you can still swap over breach
that's
stones
all great, but you don't see it enough. It's just the same principles as fucking
Yeah,
because
you never
synthesis.
see
You
it.
don't see it.
of the extra layer that they put on it to where like not every seed is going to grant you a craft now.
And that
And they
further
took me
separates the
back.
people. See, yeah, it's kind of like I said earlier about double-edged sword. How they've designed their game, it's a double-edged sword. You pick your poison, like what Stark said. It's an ongoing, controversial thing. Like, do you fuck the people that play your game? 20,000 hours in your game since this
Fuck
game's
the
been out,
1%.
or do you fuck this, or do you fuck the lower the newbies that usually come into your game, which means more money for you, in the long run because you've got people that are interested in your game and they're new and they're learning and they're going to invest because they like your game. It's like where do you go because it's like Harvest. It's like if you buff Harvest to where it was back up to where it was before they nerfed it, right? The high end people who have a lot more knowledge than 99% of the people out there will abuse it. But then if you nerf it like what they just done, they further separate. Like you said, the extra layer, right? It's where most people won't get to that point. If you do that, if what they've done is they further separate people who are casuals and who are, like I said, like people who don't even play half the time we play. You know what I mean? Like a fourth of the time we play, and it further separates them from us, which
Yeah,
we're already. You see what I'm saying?
I'm gonna use the bathroom.
So it's
1%
like,
to figure out how to make their money either way. The
yeah,
1%,
I get it.
the casuals got hurt the most with the.
Yes, hell yeah.
So to touch on something Quasi said, I like as powerful as harvest crafting was and how cool it was to make powerful items. After a while, it loses its fun because like you knew what was gonna happen. Where like, if I take like a fossil or if I'm trying to chaos spam or essence spam, I may not hit what I want right away, and it might take me a little bit of trying. And when I finally hit something that was like, holy shit, that is really good, and I get excited because it took me a minute to actually hit that, and I
Yep.
wasn't sure if it was actually gonna happen. With Harvest, I went in and I did all, block this, add a suffix, prefixes cannot be changed, augment chaos, bam. Everything was just like, okay, cool. I knew that was gonna happen. It was an
Sure.
exciting. Like the excitement was coming from a crafter, someone who's been crafting for many many leagues before Harvest and still craft. That was not exciting for me.
That's the difference between me and you, and I get it. Everybody's different. Like I said, everybody's mind is different in many different shapes,
Sure.
sizes, and forms. So, like coming from me, my background is me personally. I think that's one reason why I get like people think I'm crazy because I like Black Desert. Black Desert literally is. I would much rather just go and just kill a bunch of monsters, just blow up shit, level up my character, and keep blowing up shit, and work to collect that currency just to buy my items. Right. I've never been really big into crafting, and when Harvest was where it was at, it was one of those things where it was like, oh wow, this opens up something that was a lot easier or something. It pretty much pulled me into the side of the game that I never had really ventured in. Because like I said, before Harvest, you couldn't tell me, you couldn't ask me a question about prefixes and suffixes, and I would probably not be able to answer over half of them because I didn't know what was a prefix and what was a suffix without holding alt. Wouldn't know.
And
I'm just telling you that's what I'm saying, and it wouldn't. And I've put in over almost 10,000 hours in this game. Like
and
I'm
you
saying,
were the type of person that helped me make a lot of currency on crafting.
But that's what I'm trying to get at. But that's what I'm trying to say is like it's one of those things where the way Harvest was, it enabled people who normally wouldn't be able to touch that side of the game or that intricacy of the game to be able to craft. It pulls them in that game. And when they nerfed it, like you said, I agree with what you said. They didn't need to nerf it that hard. They're just like they did talismans. That's another conversation we can have. Like they didn't need to nerf the shit to the ground. I don't know. I think they went overboard with some of the nerfing.
I think that's a disconnect though.
Yep. Addy, I played 10,000 hours of BDO too, man. Yeah, man. I'm a BDO is fun for what it's worth. Yes.
You could tell by the way Chris was like, "Have you seen the talismans that are out?" It's like
he was trolling like a motherfucker, dude.
What?
No, as he's capping. He was capping like 9,000 on fucking live stream, dog. I was scared when he said that, and he was like, "I'm just gonna talk it up anyways." Blah blah. I was like, "Oh god, dude."
Oh man, you
they've
say
hurt.
that. think he is serious.
Well, talismans used
you
to have an
have-
identity.
Then
Well,
they
talismans had an identity in Heist League when they buffed them, right?
when they
They had
buffed,
identity.
yeah,
They had an identity. They had a place.
they
They had a
still
place.
weren't like great. Like you would still like
I'd still get shitty ones. Yes.
they but it became exciting. Like all right, so it went from hiding all talismans period on the loot filter
To being
to,
like, damn,
okay,
look,
let me
they got
show 'em
anoints.
because there could be a really
Yes.
fucking GG talisman. But how
Yes.
many did I find?
I found like 4 or 5 at a Heist League, maybe.
None
Maybe.
that were. You throw them in a tab for like 1x and they never sell because nobody searches them.
I sold quite a bit. Yeah, nobody. It's hard to search for them. That's what I'm saying. It's in one of those things where it goes back. Like I said, pick your poison. It's how they design their game. How do you search this kind of item? Because they're out there and they're good.
And
I sold like 4 in Heist League, right? That were like more than an X.
I understand why with the introduction to the the red one, the red oil that allows you to re-anoint corrupted amulets. I can kind of understand why they pulled that back a little bit because
Why so?
oftentimes you find a really good talisman, but it doesn't have the right anoint on it. And if you could change the anoint on a really well-rolled talisman, I could see that sort of being an issue, but I don't think that they needed to go as far as
Overboard. Yeah, I had a friend tell me in Discord,
back.
y'all, Stark and Deed. I had a friend argue with me for like 2 hours the other day, and I was trying to explain to him about talismans, and he was saying he agreed that talismans need to be nerfed, and he was like, there's no way that talismans need to stay where they're at. He said he could find a talisman in Act 1 and 2, and it would carry him, and he would never be able to replace it till he got to the end game. And I'm like, bro, he said I found so many. Yeah,
in 1 and 2.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, bro, number 1, you can't get them then. And I said, number 2, they're not anointed at that point. And I said, number 3, I said, dude, there's no way you could sit here and tell me that you can argue the fact that you can find that many talismans. And he said it's almost guaranteed that every single one you loot is going to be good. I was like, are you kidding me? He literally, I'm telling you, delirious AF, guys. I shit you not. I can't make this shit up. He told me that 99% of the talismans that he found, they were all good, and he was able to sell them. And I was like, no, bro. He said all the stats and the suffixes and prefixes were too good, and they needed to be nerfed the way they were nerfed. And I was like, no, they did not. They did not. He said, oh, word for word. Y'all want to laugh? He said, word for word. He said, every talisman I picked up, I could find a build that it could be used for. I went, okay, I lost you on that one, dog.
Yeah.
I lost it. I was like, dog, I'm done arguing with you. But I'm in the same boat. People said that didn't need to be nerfed. Maybe, given a certain circumstances, maybe they needed to be toned down a little bit. But like I said, in my experience and how much I play, I only found like 3 or 4 that were worth even selling. You know, like you said, you just throw them in a dump tab, hope they sell for 5 chaos. You know, whatever. They didn't need to be nerfed. So
I agree. They did.
I don't know. No,
All
they
right.
did them dirty. Did them dirty.
So I'm gonna end the YouTube portion of this podcast for right now. In closing, for everybody on YouTube right now, tell us what you think about cursors in the comments. Tell us what were some of your most painful hardcore rips in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe.
And how you dealt with them.
Yeah, how you dealt with your rips. We'll put a link to Badgers League in the description. And we will see you guys for the next podcast.
Ozzy Mofo, listen here, you sorry motherfucker. Don't you
Yeah.
talk to my man like that, dude. The fuck is wrong with you, bro? I've had enough of your mouth, bro. You better watch yourself. You better watch your fucking self, boy.
All right.
I'm
So
coming for you.
anyway,
Hold me back, Stark. I'm coming for you, bro.
tell us what you like in the comments. We'll see you guys. I think we'll have a good. I think for our next podcast, I think we're gonna have a guest on next podcast. I think that'll be good. But this was a good first run for the YouTube, and love you.
Listen, what's wrong with me?
Bye.